ونقدم لحضراتكم الآن المسلسل الثقافي الأجنبي طبائع الحيوان Animal in Action، وحلقة اليوم تحمل عنوان Life in a Cold Climate.
Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Animals in Action. The theme for today's show is animals that live in cold places, particularly in ice and snow. Just like this chinchilla here. Isn't he sweet? We'll be taking a closer look at him later on. But now Mike also has an animal that's perfectly adapted to life in a cold climate.
It certainly is, Vicky. And not only perfectly adapted to the cold, but one of the most beautiful birds I've ever seen. She's a young snowy owl called Boogaloo, and she's less than a year old. Now just look at those eyes, big, bright yellow eyes, ideal for spotting prey such as voles and lemmings amid the Arctic tundra. And the beak is surrounded by bristly feathers that are designed to keep the air that she breathes warm. Now go down to her feet. Big talons are designed to snatch up a prey, and her feet are also clad in feathers to help insulate them against the cold snow. Now her colour is pure white with these dark flecks, and that's perfect camouflage for life amid the Arctic tundra. It makes it very difficult for predators such as Arctic foxes to see her while she's sitting on a nest.
Now, I know that snowy owls can be found in a large area inside the Arctic Circle, but I gather they can now be found in Britain.
Well, only just, really, in the Shetland Islands. They've started to return in very small numbers, only 4 or 5, but with luck, they'll start to breed there.
Well, I certainly hope our next animal's never found in Britain. It too's almost completely white, because like the owl, it lives high up in the Arctic Circle. It's the polar bear. Well, these tracks are a good indication that the polar bear has at least been round here. And from the look of them, there's a mother and cubs. During the winter, the female spends most of her time in a snow den deep in the snow. It was here that she would have given birth to her cubs, well sheltered from the bitter cold and almost incessant winds outside. By now, the cubs are well grown and follow their mother wherever she goes. 2 is the usual number, but 3 cubs isn't uncommon. They're completely dependent on their mother and will remain so until they're at least 2 or even 2.5 years old. Apart from mothers with cubs, polar bears are usually solitary creatures.
A lone male hunts the icy waters on the very top of the world. He's an impressive mixture of beauty, power and stealth, equally at home both on the ice and in the icy cold water. Despite his thick coat of fur and immense bulk, he weighs more than twice the weight of a tiger, the polar bear swims very well. As more people ventured into the Arctic, the polar bear's awesome reputation as a killer grew. There's no doubt a big male like this is a force to be reckoned with, and in some situations it can be very dangerous, but its ferocity has certainly been exaggerated in the past. Its powerful front legs lifted out onto the ice with ease as it continues its hunt for its favourite food, seals.
While she has her cubs, the female stays well away from the male and other polar bears. Adult males have a habit of killing small cubs. The cubs are now well into their 2nd year, and their diet of fat-rich milk is being supplemented by seal meat. It won't be long now before they'll head off across the ice and begin hunting for themselves.
The polar bear isn't the only large land animal that can survive the harsh conditions imposed by the Arctic winter. There's another animal that lives here all the year round. The dark patch on the horizon is a herd of strange creatures called musk oxen. They're known to scientists as ovibos, which means sheep cow, but they don't belong to either group of animals. Their thick, heavy coats protect them from the freezing conditions of their Arctic home.
Warm spring heralds the arrival of the first calves. This one's only a day or so old. It's calling to try and find its mother again. The calves easily get separated from their parents, and if it is to survive, this one must find its mother as soon as possible. The trouble is, though, that adult musk oxen